Here you have it, Slate Digital's virtual tape machines. A little bit of history about the plugin itself. The plugin models two tape machines. One is the 2-inch 16-track machine at NRG Recording in the US, and the other is a half-inch 2-track mastering studio, which is with Harvey Weinberg, the mastering engineer. Two machines that probably have a significant bit of American history recorded through them. I'll run you through the thing. You first have these input and output pots, which can be ganged. They can be linked, so you can drive. If you zoom in and see, if you drive, you can choose to drive the input hotter, and it decreases the output by the same amount. Yeah. Or you can unlink them and keep them independent. Okay. Here you have a choice of biasing for the tape. For those of you who haven't used tape, normal bias would keep a flat response, whereas a high bias would increase the saturation of high frequencies first. Low bias would have the opposite effect. You have two tape speeds to choose from, 15 inches per second and 30 inches per second. 30 inches per second has more clarity at the top end and sounds cleaner, but a lot of producers prefer working at 15 inches per second because it adds more mid-range harmonic excitation. And finally you get to choose whether it's a 2-track 16-inch machine or a half-inch 2-track machine via this switch out here. They've also managed to model two types of tapes, which are labeled here as FG456 and FG9. For those of you who remember using analog, that's the Ampex Grandmaster 456, which was pretty much the standard tape. And finally, I think towards the fag end of analog, they released the 499, which had a red reel, and it was called 499 because it allowed levels to tape of up to plus 9 dB, which was serious flux, I guess you could say, at that time. Okay, so that's with the modeling. Here you have a switch that either puts the process in or bypasses it, and you have a neat little settings page that shows up, which allows you to have controls here that to do with noise reduction. So you can, if you like the sound of analog tape but you don't like the amount of hiss 24 tracks or 48 tracks of it is bringing into your DAW, you can choose to increase the amount of noise reduction so the hiss is taken back. The amount of wow and flutter you can model, the bass alignment, and a very neat little button here called hiss auto mute. So you could choose to keep the hiss for the analog tape, but it would mute the hiss on stopping Pro Tools, which is my DAW in this case. Then you have calibration levels and VU ballistics that show define the VU meters ballistics, whether they are fast, medium or slow. And you have these 8 groups. Now what you can do is you can set up these the way to do it is you insert them in the first plugin instance of every track you want it on, and you can assign these plugins to up to 8 groups. When you assign it to a group, one set of controls controls all the plugins in that group. So say maybe you want to have the 2-inch 16 track with a certain setting on across all the drum tracks. So you'd assign all the plugins on the drum tracks to one group, and then one plugin would control all of them, any of them. You can set up 8 such groups, so I think you can have a great combination of different input and output levels, different biasing, different machine types, different tape types, different tape speeds to achieve a certain sound that you want with tape. Like I said earlier, very beautifully modeled, very pretty to look at also, as you see. When I mixed Kamine, I don't know, was it 3-4 years back, I did it completely in the box, as it's called. no outboard gear really, except for maybe outboard reverbs, for the which I use the System 6000 and a variety of other lexicon reverbs. You can pan there and have a look. I use the X-Desk for analog summing, which is also a recent addition. I think we got that at the time I started doing Ishkiya. But Kamine was a completely 100% in the box mix. So I thought it would be fun to revisit the stems of Dhan Te Nan and pop this plugin across all the tracks and just see what it would have sounded like had we had access to this kind of technology then. Have a listen. I think it sounds great. What I've done is I've set it up to model a 2" 16 track on all the parts here, and I've set it up also to have the 1/2" 2 track on the master bus. So we'll do an individual process and bypass, and you can compare. We'll first play it in the bypass mode.
चल सड़कों पे होगी ठन 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 आजा आजा दिल निचोड़े रात की मटकी तोड़े.
Right. So now what we'll do is we'll put in the processing across all the plugins, across all 16 tracks, and play it again, and then we'll add in the processing on the master bus, and you can hear it for yourself. चल चल सड़कों पे होगी ठन 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 ठन. आगे हवा ही हवा है, अगर virtual tape machine. I don't think I can ever mix without it now. I just totally love it. Thanks for watching.